expected any time now. He's completed the 89th lap, expected, of course, after they open the pits, which are now closed. Nigel begins to slow and get the field in tow behind him.
Well, Paul, he's really got it slowed down, too. He looks like the old days of when we had the number system out here to slow the cars down.
He may be slow now, but he did 200 autographs in 1 hour at a autograph session down in Australia earlier this year. Here's Gary Bettenhausen on board with a man who would desperately like to succeed at this race. A whole family committed to the idea of winning the Indianapolis 500. His dad killed here in 1960 in a practice run, and Gary Bettenhausen has really carried the torch for that family ever since.
The cause of the yellow was the 60 car, Jim Crawford, who caused the first yellow, spun and continued. Jim Crawford did it again. They're averaging 173 miles an hour to this point. We are back live in Indianapolis under the yellow. Nigel Mansell, the leader of the race, came into the pits, but actually missed his pit position. The crew had to pull him back, Jack.
They did, Paul, but he showed a great deal of poise because he waited. He didn't make a miscue. He waited for Jim McGee to give him a signal as to what to do. As he overshot his pit, he locked up the tires. He waited patiently. Once he was told what to do, they pushed him back into his pit stall. As you can see now, he just waits. McGee radios to him. They push him back into the pit stall, and they complete the activities. Very, very lucky that it did not occur under green. It occurred under caution. Paul?
Here's the onboard. Nigel Mansell's car led to a 42-second stop.
And you see how tough it is to pick out exactly where it is that you want to stop. Look how many different pits there are along the way. We thought that Nigel might be susceptible to a mistake of this kind. It's happened to him. It does not appear to have cost him a great deal. But this is what a rookie runs into when he runs Indy for the first time, whether you're world champion or not.
But Nigel was very careful about that, very patient. Once the mistake was made, he did not compound it. Let's go to Gary Gerald.
There were problems on the stop for Scott Goodyear as well. He was running in 8th position, came into the pits. They made the service. He started to pull out. The engine died. They had to go through that whole procedure of getting it restarted. He was in here about 30 seconds. But again, because of the yellow, it didn't cost him that much room on the racetrack.
And you know, Paul, another thing, we think Fabi, Guerrero, and Emo lost a lap on that by pitting at the wrong time. Pit stop came wrong.
So running under the yellow, Mario Andretti has the lead of the race. Al Unser Jr. is in second place. Or Al Unser is in second place. Jr. is in third. And most of the top of the field have completed their stops. Coming up later today on ABC Sports is one of golf's most entertaining events. Hall of Famers Nancy Lopez, Pat Bradley will join the LPGA champion Betsy King for the final 9 holes of the J.C. Penney LPGA Skins Game. That's today at 3:30 Eastern here on ABC Sports. So we wait for the green flag to come out again. Mario Andretti has the field in tow as the leader of the race. You ride with him. He is followed by Al Unser, then Unser Jr., then Arie Luyendyk. In 5th place is Paul Tracy, then Scott Brayton, then Nigel Mansell has fallen to 7th. Scott Goodyear is 8th, and John Andretti is 9th.
So that mistake means Mansell is going to have to do some passing here. He's proved he can do that, but it's an exciting situation with Mario ahead and Nigel poised to pick up speed.
Back up to speed once again as Mario Andretti down on the inside looks for Racy Room coming up through the pack in this field. The closest car in pursuit will be the 80 car of Al Unser, that red and white car. Mario comes past Bobby Unser.
And out here, they're still running it very low on the racetrack, Paul. The track is still slippery. We expect the oil and the liquids to just start soaking in before too long.
And when it soaks in, Bobby, does that mean that now it will be better and they can go back and run down on it?
They certainly will, Paul. They'll be able to use more of the track, get a better arc to the track instead of such a conservative line. The speeds in the race, racing speeds have been around 200 to 201 miles an hour. That's a far cry from the 214 we started with.
You know, the leading 2 drivers at this point, and you see Mario, here's a pass by Little Al.
Jr. as he moves around Arie Luyendyk as they battle for 3rd. And Al Unser is in position now. So Arie Luyendyk slides back. He was ahead of Little Al for a moment there, and then Al took him right back.
It's the Andretti's versus the Unsers with Mansell part of the mix.
Al Unser Jr. The view backwards now over his shoulder. Eddie Cheever just ahead of him. And here is the Chevrolet onboard telemetry from this car. And Paul Tracy against the wall. The yellow comes out again. Paul Tracy into the wall. The rest of the field coming by safely. So now that change in the groove, the change of the track that Bobby Unser mentioned is beginning to tell. Paul Tracy moving in the cockpit, takes the steering wheel off, appears to be okay. Some of the padding in the cockpit, Bobby.
Well, Paul, the track is slippery. That's what we've been saying, and obviously that's what we're going to find out happened to Paul Tracy. There's Roger Penske talking to him now, trying to figure out what went wrong so he can tell Emo.
So as Paul Tracy climbs out of the car, we are under yellow again. 95 laps are complete. We're approaching the halfway point. We'll return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
His wife gave birth to.
We're back at Indianapolis as we watch the cleanup crews here take care of Paul Tracy's wounded car and also clean up a spill of some coolant that has drifted across the track. There is Tracy as he got into the wall. One report is that he may have been very close to another car trying to get under him at the time. There may be that other car, the 22 car of Scott Brayton, though it doesn't tell in this particular view whether or not that was the issue.
Paul, compare these accidents with last year when the spin started down on the apron and the angle with which the cars hit the wall was much steeper than this. You see, Paul Tracy really only glances the wall the way Al Unser Jr. did a couple of years ago when he was racing Emerson Fittipaldi for the lead down in turn 3. He got away with that one too. I think the track is much safer, but it's much tougher to pass on.
Let's go to the Penske pits, Gary Gerald.
Roger Penske coming down. You have a chance to talk to Paul, any indication what the problem was?
Yeah, he told me on the radio, he said he was down under Scott Brayton, and Scott moved over on him. He had to cut down, I guess, on the shoulder and lost control of the car. I haven't been able to see it on television, but I'm sure you can see it there.
Is there any indication, are the changes in the track making it tougher for your drivers this year?
No, I think everyone's really looking out for each other. They're giving each other the room they need. You can see it in the lap times. We're running a 2:05 to 2:09 is a real good lap time. So basically the track has slowed everybody down, but it's the same for everybody out there.
Is Emerson happy?
Yeah, right now, yeah, he was running 2:09 there that last segment. It was good and bad luck in that accident because it put Emerson back around because we got caught on that yellow when he came in, and then it went yellow right after that.
But at least better than last year when both of your cars went out at the same time. Thank you, Roger.
Thanks.
Let's go to Jack.
Well, Gary, don't expect to see Ari Luyendyk being too racy on this restart. The Ganassi crew has radioed to him to go to full lean. They're beginning to be a little bit concerned about having enough fuel to go the distance. So he is going to back off the throttle for a while and wait this one out.
Under this yellow, Fittipaldi comes in. They top off on fuel. Fittipaldi is the leader of that group, one lap behind, running in 10th place. The leader under yellow is Mario, followed by Al Unser, then Al Unser Jr., then Ari Luyendyk. The top 4 are former winners at Indianapolis.
ABC Sports exclusive coverage of the Indianapolis 500. Brought to you by the Heartbeat of America, Chevrolet, and your local Chevy dealer. By Miller Genuine Draft Light, the cold filtered light with smooth draft taste, MGD Light. Say no more. By Valvoline, people who know use Valvoline. And by Prescription Strength Lotrimin AF, the cure that gets it all.
Hovering at 1,000 feet, the Goodyear Blimp Spirit is one of 3 blimps in the Goodyear fleet and the largest, over 200 feet long, drifting over the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, helping with the coverage here today. The view down, you can see some of the crews are heading back to their station, and the yellow will soon be over.
Well, you can see the golf course down there on the left. I had a chance to walk it the other day, and the first thing that caught my eye was that the retaining walls are made of sections of the old track wall that was disassembled last year. Designer Pete Dye seems to have done a wonderful job, and I'm sure the Speedway's pro Raleigh Schroeder will soon be besieged by requests to play this course, especially from the drivers, because at least half the drivers in this field are devoted golfers.
Beautiful circuit. Still under yellow. Mario Andretti has just completed the halfway point, 250 miles. At the conclusion of this lap, should it rain, it will be an official race. We'll be back.
The IndyCar excitement doesn't end here at the Brickyard. Next stop, Milwaukee, for the Miller Genuine Draft 200 live next Sunday on ABC Sports.
We're back live at Indianapolis, the 77th 500, the Valvoline race summary. Mario Andretti is the leader. We have had 10 different leaders matching the record set in 1980. In second place, it's Al Unser, followed by Unser Jr. out of the race. Danny Sullivan, who hit the wall. Nelson Piquet had his engine let go. Stan Fox is out of the race. And Paul Tracy, of course, brushed the wall, bringing out the yellow. More than brushed it, he hit it. So now we should be coming back to a green flag as they come down the backstretch. This is the running order after 100 laps. And Mario Andretti has completed. Look at Al Unser as he comes up alongside of Mario.
Incredible to see Mario Andretti and Al Unser Sr. racing each other again. These are the two most experienced drivers in the race, 27, 28 years respectively. It's almost as if it was the early 1970s all over again.
Raul Boesel is right there with the leaders, though he is a lap behind the race itself. Pace car heads for the pit road. Dwayne Sweeney's green flag signaled to Mario Andretti.
Boy, did Mario make the most of that restart. He accelerated hard back in turn 3, which you're perfectly entitled to do. Everyone else was asleep.
Look at the spacing, Bobby Unser.
Yes, he's coming through here down to the rumble strips, right back out, and again, he looks like he's the best Henley car on the track. Between he and Mansell, I think it's a toss-up, Paul.
Bobby, the wind has come up in the last few minutes. How does the sky look to you there? We're past half distance, of course. It is an official race.
Sam, the wind isn't bad over here. It hasn't changed probably since the race started. Of course, remember, the wind, this is a large track. It's different in different places around the track, but it's good here.
Captain Aaron Jenkins on the Goodyear blimps has on their radar there is no sign of rain at the moment, though some of the teams are beginning to become concerned about that. Let's get an update on Mario from Jack Arute.
Well, that's one of the teams that is concerned. They radioed in. Ed Nathman told Mario Andretti during that last caution, we are watching the weather. If it begins to change, we will change the setup. He said, let's leave it the way it is right now, but if it does change, look for major changes on your lead car.
On board second place, Al Unser Jr., 9 seconds behind the leader Mario. And Mario, as we watch Brayton and Lyondike, this is a battle for third. Brayton sits in third at the moment. Mario has passed Wilbur Shaw and the all-time lap leaders, now ranking fourth as he continues to roll up laps in the lead.
Well, you can watch as the cars come out of that turn we just saw there at the different grooves that they take. Just look at the difference between the guys that run out where it's black, the guys that are down where it's gray.
How much has it changed since the start of this race, Bobby?
Oh, it's probably changed, I would say, at least 4 times already, Paul. I can see tracks way out into the gray, and most of it now they're back to the bottom of the racetrack. Pretty much of a normal groove.
And that's where being a veteran pays off here. Mario Andretti, the most experienced driver, starting this race today. Nigel is now closing in on Arie Luyendyk, making it a 3-way battle for third. Scott Brayton and that brightly colored number 22 car currently occupies it. The 3 participants just flashed past one of the wall-mounted cameras here. Here they come again.
Experience is really paying off. The first 3 drivers have all been in this race more than 10 times. They've been through this sort of thing before, and they are veterans of the